this time that I have with them when they're so little, that those little things don't bother me as much as they used to. And it's not that you can't do it all, but it's you can't do it all at the same time. This go, go, go mentality rather than this peaceful, calm, nurturing mentality of mothering my children, it really requires emphasis. Because if I don't have this, then I don't have anything. Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Priscilla. I am a mom of 3. I have a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 6-month-old now, which are all napping. I think one of them is starting to wake up, but let's see what we can do here. I have 3, maybe 4 lessons that I have learned in my short time of being a mom of 3 kids, 3 years and under. And let me tell you, it's been the most fun time of my life. I feel like I have done the most amount of growth, and simultaneously it has also been the hardest time of my life. These last few years have been a time of exponential growth, whether I saw that coming or not. Whether I wanted to grow in the ways I did or not, it just inevitably, being a parent just grows you in ways and stretches you in ways that you just never knew you could. So I want to share a few lessons that I have learned in these last 3.5, or almost, it's about to be 4 years actually. My oldest is about to turn 4 in April. So it has been now almost 4 years, and I have learned a few things. I'm in no way an expert, but I have figured out some things, and I want to share those things with you in case you are going through a tough time or you just need that reminder. I definitely need that from time to time, and even writing these things down, it kind of spoke back to me because there are tendencies that I tend to sort of fall back to. And so this is a nice, healthy reminder for myself, and also an encouragement to you if you are a mom of just 1 child, 2 children, 3 children, 4. I don't know how many kids you have, but I know that this will help those out there that are trying to also learn and grow more in your parenthood journey. So the first thing is the phrase, done is better than perfect. This is something that I have struggled with a lot, pretty much since I was a little kid, having things just exactly how I want them, just perfectionism, and that can really steal a lot of not only joy but opportunity and progress. And sometimes I won't start something until I know that I can make the time specifically for that, or I know that I won't be able to dedicate as much time as I would like or attention to something, so I'll just keep putting it off until the perfect time comes. And I don't know if you can relate with that, but that happens to me a lot, and I've had to break free from that and that all or nothing mentality, because it is a flawed way of thinking, and with that can come a lot of just boxing in limitations, these like limited ways of thinking, like I can't do this because fill in the blank, or even it can lead to a mentality of lack and not realizing the abundance that you do have, which is like a lack of gratitude. So sometimes I'll be like, oh well, if I just had more time to do that, then I would do it, and then I'm not realizing that I do have the same time that everyone else does, but I'm just not stewarding it in the proper way that allows me to get that thing done. And so a practical example that I'm talking about here, a lot of times it's like things like laundry. Sometimes I'm like, I can't tri-fold these little kids' shirts uninterrupted, so I won't get that done right now until I'm able to later, maybe when they're napping. But then nap time comes, and then I have a baby who needs me also, and so I'm doing breastfeeding, and I'm also helping the baby take a nap, and then I also have my own needs. I haven't eaten yet, and then before I know it, I'm like, yeah, that laundry's just not getting folded right now. And so what I have done, to take this very practical small example, and you can take this as broad as you can or as large as you can in your life, or as simple as just day-to-day tasks like I'm talking about here, but I have started to just fold laundry while they're around me playing, and not worry so much about this perfect dedicated time that I have for this thing that needs to get done. Sometimes I'm like, oh, they're just gonna get around all the stuff and undo my work, and I'd rather just do it when they're asleep or when they're doing something else. But recently I've just been embracing them helping me, quote unquote, and my oldest is starting to learn how to fold her own clothes, and she knows where they go. So, and even her brother's clothes, she'll put them away. So getting them involved in the process has been so beneficial. They love it. It builds their self-esteem. I can just tell they just light up when they're doing something for one another or for themselves, and they're accomplishing something. They're learning new skills. So we're all winning in that scenario. I'm getting something done that I need to do, and they are also getting involved in helping me with it. It also transfers over to the kitchen. Sometimes I know I need to make bread or I need to start dinner or something, and I just involve them in it. And sometimes they'll be interested for a few minutes and then they'll go off to play, do their own thing. But that little bit of time with them, it just creates an opportunity for me to teach them. And it's just laundry. At the end of the day, like, it's just laundry. I don't have to worry about it being perfect. It just needs to get done. So done is better than perfect. And I really look up to my husband about this because he is the doer in our family. Like, if something needs to get done, he's the one that's like, okay, it doesn't matter, the little details, you can tackle those later, but I'm gonna start here. And he usually takes the lead and starts to get the ball rolling, where I would probably be paralyzed with just staring at that mountain of how are we gonna get that done? And he reminds me all the time, like, doing a little bit at a time is better than just putting it off all together until you have, you know, that larger chunk of time to do something. And with YouTube and content creation, this is the same thing that happens. I'm like, I know I won't have 3 hours to, you know, film and edit and post and all of that, so I just won't do it. But I'm doing this right now as the kids are napping, and then I'll break it up into, I'll put in the videos in the computer while I'm cooking dinner or something, because that's very passive. And then I'll start chopping it up and editing when they go to sleep. And then tomorrow's another day and I can do a little bit more. So those are just practical examples that I thought that I would bring to your attention, and you can find them in your life as you go. If you have this kind of mentality, which is not a good one. I don't think it's a strength of mine. This is definitely a flaw that I have been growing in. The next one is knowing what to hold on to and knowing what to let go. So what I mean is knowing what is truly valuable and what is not that valuable, and putting off to the side for a time. Another practical example, my time with them, teaching them, spending that intentional time with them, nurturing them, that is my priority in the day, and making sure that their needs and everyone's needs are met. So for example, if my husband gets home from work and we have dinner and he's like, let's go to the park, and we go to the park, I'm not anymore worrying about, oh, the dishes are in the sink or the kitchen needs to be cleaned up after dinner. Like, sometimes we are able to do a quick sweep and get everybody together and chip in every way that we can to get it done. But other times we're like, the sun is about to set, we're gonna lose daylight, let's go, and not worry about that and just kind of put it off to the side for a little bit, because at the end of the day, it's just dishes. It's just, I don't know, again, like that pile of laundry. I am much more interested in this time that I have with them when they're so little, that those little things don't bother me as much as they used to. Do they bother me still? Yes, but I'm choosing to have self-control and just put it off to the side for now, and that will get done. At the end of the day, those little things that need to get done will get done, but it's just prioritizing what can be done in the waking hours when they're awake, when they're with us. And for me, it makes me really happy when I see my husband spending intentional time with my kids, because I know that he works really hard during the day and he's out of the home, and then when he comes home, I want to make sure that I can enable that time together and that we can all be as a family. Another example for this is groceries. For me, it's much more valuable that I stay home with them and I'm able to get their naps and keep their routine. And honestly, grocery shopping is not as fun as it used to be for me. I'm one of those people that like to go to the store and grocery shop, but once I started having kids, that is something that I just switched over to having a grocery delivery service come and deliver my groceries weekly. And if we need things throughout the week, we'll go to Publix and we'll all go together, sometimes as a family, and sometimes my husband will just go right after work, or when he's going to the gym or on his way back from the gym at night after the kids are already asleep, and we make it work. So we have delegated and sacrificed some things so that we can hold those values that are really important and put them to the top of the priority list. This can also mean things like spending intentional time with your partner. So for my husband and I, it's really important at the end of the night that we get together and we have just some FaceTime and some intentional time together, and not just wait until we have a date night to just really connect, because I think that's in our lives right now with little kids, it's not that often that we get to have a dedicated date night where we go out, but we make sure that even if we're not necessarily always leaving the house to have that date night, that we're able to do an at-home date night, kind of just get together and spend intentional time one-on-one. This next one is such a convicting one for me, and it has taken me probably two to 3 years to figure out. My husband had actually told me about it and brought it to my attention much earlier, but I didn't have the eyes to see and the ears to hear his advice and his wisdom. And now looking back, I'm like, I could have saved myself so much frustration if I would have just listened. So I'm saying this with so much love and respect and understanding that everyone's circumstances are different, but this is just my case. I wrote down, trying to do too much during the day leads to discontentment, that I either didn't get enough done on my list and that I didn't give them enough attention, and maybe was quick to get overwhelmed and frustrated, like I had too much on my plate. So what I mean by this is sometimes I'll start the day and have all this energy. I'm like, this is gonna be a great day. I'm gonna get this done and that done, and I'll start a list. And I'm a list person. I like to have a visual of the things that I have to get done, the things that I want to get done that maybe I won't have time to, but if I'm able to, I have them there on my list because I need to get it off my brain and into a paper, and I like to check things off. So, and this is probably from my nursing background, because I would always keep what's called like your brain. You just keep it in your pocket, and you have all your patients and you just check off like lab work, titrating a drip, taking a patient to CT. And so for me, I've always been like that. But I translated that into motherhood, and that just didn't work out. And that's because I'm so eager to write so many things on a paper. And then at the end of the day, I see that I only accomplished 3 or 4 of those things, and it can feel really defeating. At times I can feel okay about it and be like, okay, well, let's just move on. I'll do the other items that I didn't complete tomorrow. But then guess what? Tomorrow comes along and I have another list or things in my mind that I want to get done, plus what I didn't get done yesterday. But 2 things happen. At the end of the day, when I don't get them done, I sometimes feel discouraged and like, man, why can't I get things done? If I could just ... then I could do this. And that train of thought doesn't end well, and it starts to bring on other negative thoughts. And so my mindset just goes south when I start thinking that way, and I can catch myself because I have become more aware over the years. And the other thing is that I can start working towards those things, but then I get kind of frustrated when I get interrupted in the middle of doing something, or I'm just buzzing through and doing all of the things that I want to get done, and I lose track of time. And so I know that that doesn't do a service to them, and then it makes me feel also bad. I'll get like upset and I won't know why, and it's like, oh yeah, I've had to stop like 4 times doing this thing. And my husband has told me with so much love and grace and wisdom, he's like, I love that you want to do so much, but at the same time, during the day when you're the only person here and you're taking care of them, that is your main priority. And so when you put so much on your plate and you don't have a second pair of hands, and a baby is crying and somebody needs you, and it's like you feel so stretched out, and it's because you're trying to get too much done all at the same time. And it's not that you can't do it all, but it's you can't do it all at the same time, especially when you're by yourself and you don't have me to help you, because I can do the dishes later when I get home, or I can help mop the floors and take out the trash, and we can do this together. But in the wake hours of the day when the kids are awake, just focus on them and free yourself up from any guilt that you have that might be keeping you from living freely in your role as a mother. And so that's something that he's told me, and that I have come to realize for myself as well, that whenever I just cloud up my schedule with too many things, I'm more hurried, I'm not as patient, and I have this go mentality rather than this peaceful, calm, nurturing mentality of mothering my children. And so that is something that I have definitely improved on over the years. And sometimes I get tempted to put a little bit too much on my plate, but I remember that that is never a good idea, and that there will be time later on to complete those things in a much wiser way. Okay, so my older 2 kids got up and my baby is just starting to wake up. So for the last point, I will say this is probably my biggest one, and I saved it to the end because it really requires emphasis. because if I don't have this, then I don't have anything. As a Christian, I have to have that intentional time with God every day. And so for this last one, I wrote down, God will increase my capacity. And I have seen this happen time and time again. Specifically in the last month, I have just changed up the way that I approach my prayer time and my intentional time with God. I have just seen such a growth in this area, and it has poured into all the areas of my life, to the point where my husband has noticed and has said things like, I can just tell you're more patient. I can just tell that you have more joy. I haven't heard you say in a while that today was really, really hard and chaotic. I have noticed you being more content with what you have and your circumstances, and being more grateful. And so he told me that last night too. It just made me smile because I can see the receipts and the fruit already of just this last month of January. I completely went off of social media. Not that I really even consumed it that much to begin with, but I decided to fast all of social media, and that is something that I have done over the years, and I do throughout the year at times. I just kind of block off that time, and in that time I have spent intentional time with God in prayer. When the kids go to sleep, that's like my time to just recalibrate and plug in and just like eat a snack and take care of my physical needs too, and just rest, but also just crack open the Bible and read the word with more detail, not just doing read alouds to the kids and having them flip through the pages and read what they want to read, because we've been on Galatians 5:22 to 23 for like a few weeks now, and that's all my daughter wants to read, and I'm like, I just sat down here with my coffee to do my Bible time, and you have just hijacked it. But it's really sweet to see how their faith is growing and their desire to learn is there because of our desire to learn and grow in Jesus, and they are seeing that firsthand. So the fruit is that they will also do it as they grow up, and I'm already seeing the harvest. That time with God just overflows onto my kids. When I spend that time intentionally in prayer and in His presence, I am much more filled up, and it's just amazing to experience because I can tell that I'm not in the flesh, like I'm walking in the Spirit. I'm much more patient, I'm much more kind, I'm much more gentle, and I just can't help but talk about His works that He's doing in my life, the transformation that He has began and continue to do, and renewing my mind. And I'm seeing it happen in real time. Like I'm seeing these little kids grow up so quickly, and people tell me like from one Sunday to the next Sunday when we see them at church, or my parents when they go like a couple weeks without seeing them, they're like, wow, they're so big, they're growing up so fast. And especially my baby, you know, they just grow so quickly, they grow right before your eyes. And I've experienced that sort of growth lately in my spiritual walk with God. It's because I have taken that time to put off and to take away those things that would normally take time away from me, and being with the Father and being with my Creator, the one who gives me the strength, the one that gives me the capacity, the one that gives me the peace and the joy and the love and all of the fruit. And so I just wanted to end with that over time it does get easier, but not just in the practical way because you've gained experience and you know these tricks and hacks and you know how to handle certain things, but also because as you press into the Lord, as you seek wisdom from God, He will give it and it will show up in these ways. And so I wanted to leave you with that and encourage you to also press into God, tap into the source, the one who will give you the strength, which is God. And so I wanted to leave you with that. I will be doing other videos like this, probably sit downs while the kids nap. That's probably the most realistic, or maybe at night when they're sleeping. But I do want to come on here and share a little bit more of my life and maybe tips like this. And if you have questions, you can leave them in the comments. So thank you for watching. I'm gonna go hang out with my kids. They're doing karaoke right now, so that's always really fun. And I will talk to you guys in the next one.